Hello everyone, and welcome to part 9 of my Children of Bodom full discography review series. It's been a very long time since my last review. Actually, it's been a very, very long time. I can't even remember. But I'm back and I'm going to finish this. So this time we're going to look at 2008's Blooddrunk, which a lot of Children of Bodom fans call the worst album. Although nowadays I've been hearing that Relentless Reckless Forever is the worst album, so I don't know. But personally, I'll just say it right now, I do not think Blooddrunk is a bad album. I actually think it's one of the best, so let's get that out of the way first. So the lineup for the album is the same. Alexi, Laiho, lead guitar vocals, Roope, Latvala, rhythm guitar, Jaska on drums, Henkka on bass, and Janne on keyboards. Roughly half of the album is in D tuning, while the other half is in drop C, which is quite a difference from their last album, where they had, I believe, one song in D standard. There's a bigger focus on thrash metal and just overall faster tempos on this album, which puts a lot of people off. Some people say there's less melody, which I kind of agree with, but the melodies that do show up are pretty awesome. Also, I started listening to the band around the time that this album came out, which might be why I like it. I believe it was the first album that I actually listened to by them. Before I only heard like various songs from each album. And a lot of people complain about the production on this album. I don't know why. It's not that bad. I mean, Relentless Reckless Forever, that has bad production, but this album is not that bad. I don't know. Anyways, let's go on to the songs. The first track is called Hellhounds on My Trail. It's the second single from the album, and it is a great way to kick off the album. It blasts right off at full speed and is in your face. The verse riff is fast and frantic with some great vocals from Alexi. The bridge after is catchy as hell and has some good use of gang vocals. The chorus comes in after a second verse, which is unusual, but it's simply great with a nice melody. After that, there's a short build-up to the guitar and keyboard solos, both of which are different from what we are accustomed to hearing from Bodom, but work and are great also. This is one of the first songs I heard from Children of Bodom, and while it's not one of my favorites, it's a really, really strong track. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Second track is the title track, that would be Blooddrunk. It's the first single and the most accessible song from the album. It starts off with a nice keyboard riff similar to Downfall before the guitars kick in. The verse riffs are kind of weird at first, but they do work well with the song. The chorus is pretty decent with the gang shouting the words Blooddrunk while Alexi does his thing. The bridge is pretty random in structure, but it's pretty cool. After we get the keyboard solo, which is decent, followed by a guitar solo which has some nice melody to it. A variation of the chorus, which includes a nice keyboard melody in the background, closes out the song. This is one of my least favorites on the album, probably because, I don't know, it was quite overplayed for me. But it's still pretty good. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Third track is the Bodom song from the album, and a lot of people say it's the worst Bodom song. That would be Lobotomy. It starts off with some double bass drumming from Jaska before going into a complex and unique sounding riff. The verse riffs follow and are hard to get into since the rhythm is so messed up. The tail ends to the verse riffs are pretty cool though. The chorus is pretty damn heavy and has a nice melody at the end. Soon enough the bridge comes in and we are treated to a melody that sounds eerily similar to previous songs from the band, such as Northern Comfort and Needle 24/7. The keyboard solo follows and is pretty good. The guitar solo comes in after it and is really good and underrated in my opinion. I believe this is one of the most universally hated songs from the band, but I really like it. It's probably the heaviest song they have done and possibly the most progressive. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. The next song is called One Day You Will Cry. It starts off as a very cool synth sound reminiscent of the Terminator theme. Soon the guitar kicks in with a very cool melody. The verse riffs seem unusual but are very energetic, and there's a nice keyboard part that plays over it the second time. The chorus is also strong, despite being rather simple in structure. The bridge contains a nice keyboard melody which leads us into the guitar solo, which seems kinda short, but it is simply fantastic. The keyboard solo follows it and is just as good. The song then goes back to the great intro riff and ends with a different take on the verse. This in my opinion should have been one of the singles from the album. It's one of my favorite Bodom songs ever. I give it a 5 out of 5. Definitely check this one out. The next song is the third and final single from the album, and it's called Smile Pretty for the Devil. It starts off with a nice bass riff from Henkka and accented chords before kicking off into the verse. The verse riffs are kind of similar to the ones in Lobotomy, but are better in this song. At the end of the first verse, there's a really cool riff with a great yow from Alexi. The chorus has great melody and intensity, with the name of the song leading into that cool riff again. The bridge has a decent melodic riff that leads into the last minute of the song, which is easily the best part. The keyboard solo is simply awesome, and the guitar solo that follows is the same. The rhythm guitar during all this is also top-notch and makes it much better. The song ends with a very nice unison guitar and keyboard melody. Even though this song is a single, I really like it, and I don't usually like the Bodom singles, but this is a really, really good track. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. The next song, I'm not sure if this was released as a single or not. I've heard some sources say that it was, and some that it wasn't released, but this song is called Tie My Rope. It starts off with a cool keyboard part before the guitars kick in. The verse riff is fast and in your face, which leads us into the chorus. The chorus has some nice harmonics and is pretty powerful with some good vocals from Alexi and the gang. After, there's a little interlude with a mystical sounding keyboard line, which leads into a second chorus with a fantastic guitar melody. Shortly after, we get to a pretty fast and melodic unison guitar and keyboard bridge. After that, there's a guitar solo which is pretty good, but unfortunately there's no keyboard solo. The song ends with the second chorus and a harmonized version of that awesome melody. This is probably, I would say, the weakest song on the album, but it's still pretty good. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. The next song, a lot of my subscribers should know this song, because a lot of my subscribers are into Guitar Hero. This song is called Done With Everything, Die For Nothing, from Guitar Hero 5. I was a bit surprised at this choice for a song, though. It's definitely not what you think of when Children of Bodom comes to mind. Anyways, the song opens with a frantic guitar riff that leads into a nice lead melody. I really like the verse riffs, which have a nice melodic groove to them. After the first verse, there's a little guitar solo, which isn't anything extraordinary, but gets the job done. A harmonized version of the verse comes in shortly after this, and we get to the chorus, which is kinda unique and different for Children of Bodom. It just has a weird feel that I can't describe. Anyways, there's a short keyboard solo shortly after, followed by a short guitar solo. After this, both the guitar and the keyboard have a unison solo, which is quite a good one. After that, there's a short bridge, which serves as a nice transition into the final chorus. One other thing to note is that this is the shortest song on the album. It's, I believe, 3 minutes and 31 seconds, something like that. It's also one of the strongest songs. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. The next song is the slower ballady song off the album, and that would be Banned From Heaven. It starts off with a lead and rhythm guitar melody that blends in nicely together. After that, we get the main melody of the song, which is very good. The verse riffs are heavy and have nice tail ends to them. Shortly after, a variation of the main melody plays, which evokes a lot of emotion from Alexi and his vocals. We then finally get to the chorus, which has a very nice melody and great vocals once again from Alexi. There's a little guitar solo after, which leads into an awesome bridge with nice chords and a nice keyboard part. This leads into a second and final guitar solo, which is, in my opinion, the better one. The song ends with the chorus, which gradually slows down and fades seamlessly into the next and final track. In my opinion, this is one of the better, slower songs Bodom has written. I give it a 4 out of 5. The final track is also my favorite song off the album, which may come as a surprise because I know a lot of people hate this song because apparently it doesn't have any melody. But this song is called Roadkill Morning. It starts off right in your face with Alexi growling over a very fast and awesome guitar riff. A second heavier riff comes in shortly after this, which serves as a secondary verse. There's a nice little riff before the chorus that has very questionable lyrics but is great nonetheless. The chorus itself is fantastic. It contains a modified version of the chorus keyboard melody from Band from Heaven and just has a good feel to it. Soon afterwards we get a guitar and keyboard solo duel which happens to be one of the best the band has ever done. I would go as far as saying it's almost as good as the one in Kissing the Shadows. I also really like how the song ends with the final chorus leading into the first riff of the song. Alexi's final scream is fantastic also. Once again, my favorite song off the album, I give it a 5 out of 5. Bloodrunk is considered by many to be one of the 2 worst Bodom albums along with Relentless Reckless Forever. I don't know if it's just because I got into the band at around this time, but I think this is actually one of their better ones. I hear a lot of complaints about the production of the instruments, but honestly, I don't see anything that bad about it. Overall, Bloodrunk gets a 4.5 out of 5. It's no Follow the Reaper, but it's a great album with some killer riffs. Join me next time when I review what I believe is now known as the worst Bodom album to many fans, that being Relentless Reckless Forever. See you next time.